In the dark, foggy, absolutely miserable streets of Spinner's End, a deadly promise is being made. Murder and mayhem have officially returned to the wizarding world. And amidst all this growing terror, Severus Snape is binding himself to an unbreakable vow. The stakes have literally never been higher. And by the end of today's story, you'll understand more of the language that paints this dark picture while naturally improving your English.
So, right while Snape is making this incredibly dark vow, Albus Dumbledore arrives at the quiet, perfectly normal neighborhood of Privet Drive to collect Harry Potter. Dumbledore is taking a much more active role in Harry's life now. He's personally retrieving him from the Dursleys' home, because, well, the time for hiding is completely over. As Dumbledore and Harry walk together through the night, there's this chilling prophecy hanging right over them. Neither can live while the other survives. Dumbledore knows he has to prepare Harry for the inevitable confrontation. He's got to teach Harry everything about the dark wizard who came before him, the boy who would eventually become Lord Voldemort, Tom Riddle. Tom Riddle is essentially Harry's predecessor, and a predecessor is just someone who goes before you in time, kind of like the person who held a job right before you did. In this case, Riddle walked the halls of Hogwarts long before Harry ever did. I mean, how do you think Harry feels, carrying the heavy weight of this prophecy on his shoulders, knowing he's eventually going to have to face his deadly predecessor?
Before heading back to school, Harry visits Diagon Alley, but the once bustling magical street is now shuttered and grim. It really reflects a world gone dark. But there's this one shining beacon of light and laughter left, and that's Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Fred and George's joke shop is so vibrant, it honestly makes you want to shout, "Blimey!" which is a fantastic British exclamation you use when you're completely surprised or amazed.
But of course, not everything in Diagon Alley is a laughing matter. Harry actually notices Draco Malfoy slipping into a dark alley, acting extremely dodgy. Now, if someone or something is dodgy, they're suspicious, unreliable, or maybe just up to no good. Harry's suspicions lead him to sneak into Draco's train compartment on the Hogwarts Express, which is a super risky move that ends with Harry getting stunned by a dark jinx and just left behind on the floor.
Rescued just in time, Harry arrives at Hogwarts to begin his 6th year. And in Professor Slughorn's potions class, Harry is handed this battered, second-hand textbook. It's completely covered in scribbled notes in the margins, and it apparently belongs to someone calling themselves the Half-Blood Prince.
By following the prince's handwritten alternative instructions, Harry actually brews a perfect potion, and his reward? A tiny, shimmering vial of Felix Felicis, which is also known as liquid luck. It makes you wonder, right? What would you do if you had a little bottle of liquid luck? Just imagine the possibilities.
But notice how normal life tries to keep pushing forward despite the looming war. We still see Quidditch tryouts happening, kids studying in the common room, and the proud display of a shiny Gryffindor prefect badge. Amidst all this daily life, we get to hear some great, authentic British English. Ron might pull on a warm jumper, which is what Americans would call a sweater, while Hermione is busy arguing that trust in the Half-Blood Prince's book is absolute rubbish, meaning total nonsense or garbage. But Harry absolutely refuses to give up the book. I mean, it's making him top of the class. The real education this year, however, is happening in Dumbledore's office. Together, Harry and Dumbledore dive into the glowing pensive, which is this magical basin that lets them literally experience memories of the past. They witness the dark, twisted history of the Gaunt family, an ancient pureblood line that speaks Parseltongue, the incredibly eerie language of snakes.
These memories belong to the ancestors of Voldemort. And here's a really fascinating detail for you. If you want to pronounce his name exactly as the author intended, the T at the very end is actually silent. It's Voldemort. Through these memories, they learn about Tom Riddle's deep, seething hatred for his father, a man who possessed no magic at all.
His father was a muggle. A muggle is simply a person with no magical powers whatsoever. We also learn about squibs, people born to magical parents who unfortunately have no magic themselves. Voldemort's evil rise was entirely fueled by this intense, hateful prejudice of pure-blood wizards against muggles and squibs.
To truly defeat Voldemort, Dumbledore needs one specific, deeply hidden memory from Professor Slughorn. So using his liquid luck, Harry somehow manages to coax the memory out of a very ashamed Slughorn. Down in Dumbledore's office, they pour the memory into the pensieve and uncover a truly terrifying secret.
This is where they uncover the horrifying reality of a Horcrux. A Horcrux is an object created through incredibly dark magic used to contain a torn piece of a wizard's soul. So long as the Horcrux survives, the wizard cannot truly die. And Voldemort didn't just make one, he created several of them, including an old diary and Marvolo Gaunt's ring, scattering pieces of his soul everywhere just to ensure his immortality. Meanwhile, the tension inside Hogwarts violently snaps. Draco Malfoy, who is desperate and terrified by a secret mission given to him by Voldemort, corners Harry in a bathroom. A fierce duel erupts, and in a total moment of panic, Harry casts an unknown spell he read in the prince's book, Sectum Sempra. The spell literally slashes Draco open, leaving Harry completely horrified by the dark magic he's just unleashed. But there is no time to linger on mistakes. Dumbledore summons Harry immediately. They have to apparate, which means to magically teleport, to a dark, freezing sea cave where Dumbledore believes Voldemort has hidden one of those Horcruxes, Salazar Slytherin's locket. To retrieve the locket, Dumbledore actually has to drink a potion designed to torture the mind. Watching Dumbledore suffer like that, Harry is deeply aggrieved. To aggrieve someone is to cause them intense distress or sorrow. Just imagine the absolute despair echoing in that dark, icy cave as Harry is forced to make his mentor drink that poison. Weakened and gasping for air, they manage to escape the cave with the locket and rush back to Hogwarts. But the nightmare isn't even close to over. Floating menacingly right above the astronomy tower is the Dark Mark, a glowing green skull with a serpent tongue. Death Eaters have infiltrated the school. Up on top of the tower, Draco Malfoy manages to disarm a frail Dumbledore, but the boy's hands are shaking. He just cannot bring himself to commit murder. Suddenly, Severus Snape steps out from the shadows. Dumbledore looks at him, completely defenseless, and says, "Severus, please." With a blinding flash of green light, Snape casts the fatal curse, blasting the greatest wizard of the age right off the tower. Filled with this blinding grief and rage, Harry chases Snape through the burning Hogwarts grounds. He throws spell after spell, but Snape just effortlessly blocks them all. Finally shouting a devastating truth at him. Harry is using his own spells against him. Snape himself is the Half-Blood Prince. And if that wasn't enough, another devastating twist awaits. After all of Dumbledore's suffering, Harry opens the locket they retrieved from the cave, only to find a piece of crumpled parchment inside. The locket is a fake. The real Horcrux was stolen long ago by someone with the initials R.A.B. The story comes to a really solemn close at the White Tomb. Fawkes, Dumbledore's loyal phoenix, sings a haunting, beautiful lament over the grounds of Hogwarts. And as the song echoes, Harry realizes with absolute certainty that he will not be returning to school next year. He's going to have to finish this dark journey alone. We've walked through such a truly magical, gripping narrative today. And along the way, J.K. Rowling didn't just create a story. She expanded the English language. Words like aggrieve, muggle, and dodgy. They built a world where we can truly feel the danger, the sorrow, and the magic. Every new word you absorb makes this universe just a little bit more real. If you enjoyed learning English through this unforgettable story, please go ahead and leave a like and share it with friends who are also learning English. Subscribe to The English Effect for more immersive storytelling just like this. And definitely don't forget to download your free vocabulary companion using the link in the description. As you close this chapter today, ask yourself, if you had to face the darkest parts of your own world, what kind of magic would you rely on? Keep reading, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next story.